the Amazon, the giant otter, and the battle of the jungle. The Amazon is not just a forest, but the beating heart of wildlife. Stretching across 9 South American countries, it possesses more than a quarter of the world's biodiversity. Thousands of rivers crisscross like veins. The forests are as dense as walls of time. Covering a world where every step, every movement can mean life or death. In a land where sunlight filters through layers of leaves and steam rises from the ground like smoke, every creature must fight every moment to survive. The Amazon is also home to silent warriors, forged through millions of years of evolution. Giant otter. The river warrior of the Amazon. Adult otters can be 1.5 to 1.8 meters long, including the tail that acts as a rudder underwater. Their short, thick, and especially glossy fur is dark brown or reddish brown, making them completely waterproof. Like a biological armor that keeps them warm in the cold river. On their necks, each individual has a unique white mark like a fingerprint, used to identify each other. Wide-webbed feet, like duck feet, helping them glide smoothly and quietly through the water. Round eyes and small ears. Short but strong legs. Often the only thing that sticks out when they observe from below the water. Unlike solitary carnivores, giant otters live in close-knit family groups. A group usually includes a pair of parents and their offspring of various ages. They hunt, play, and sleep side by side. This family bond is maintained through their unique vocalizations, with over 20 different types, ranging from warning whistles to deep, comforting calls during stressful moments. The breeding pair bond for life. Mating season usually falls during the dry season, when water levels are low and prey is more concentrated. After a gestation period of about 65 days, the mother otter gives birth to 1 to 5 cubs in a hidden riverside den. This is carefully dug and protected from threats such as crocodiles, pythons, and jaguars. The cubs are born blind and completely dependent on their mother. The whole family cares for, keeps them warm, and teaches them. They are a team operating on a survival strategy. When the cubs are almost adults, the parents teach them to hunt. Today's menu is fish. In the murky waters of an Amazon tributary, a baby otter stood motionless, only its brown eyes peeking out of the water. In the distance, the adults were thrashing violently to force the fish into a dead corner. Each swirl of water twisted like an invisible net. The gentle sound of waves lapping against the shore, the only sound in the tense scene. The baby remained in the same position, not moving. Tail slightly curled, hind legs tucked close to its body. Whiskers trembling, it felt even the slightest movement in the water. A fish flashed by below its feet. The air seemed to stop. And then, suddenly it lunged. A bite. The fish was gone. Only the ripples remained. And the baby otter's eyes went silent for a few seconds. The other otters all had food, but it did not. It swam quietly back to the group, the otters in the group sharing their food with it as a consolation for its first failure. A quiet morning on a tributary of the Amazon River. The young otter swims close to its mother. Its alert brown eyes follow each dive, each rhythmic flick of its tail. It learns to wait. Not to dive in at the first sign of movement. It has to read the current. The water in front of it ripples slightly. Its mother gives no signal. It just turns its head, then dives. This time it doesn't need anyone to herd the fish. It swims to the shallows, gingerly weaving through the submerged trees. A school of small fish is circling in the space under the roots. A decisive stroke. Its teeth clench, the smooth fish struggles. Water splashes. For a moment, everything seems to stop. Then, bursting into a loud cry, it has its own reward. A start for the new hunter, truly grown up. But the Amazon is not just about water. This world is also shaped by darkness and predators from the shore. In the humid riverine forests, where light only filters through the leaves, there is a leader of the terrestrial predatory chain. The jaguar. Its body is solid and compact like a mass of living muscle. With its dark yellow fur speckled with distinctive black rosettes. This is both an identification mark and a perfect camouflage in the jungle. An adult male jaguar can be up to 1.8 meters long and weigh more than 90 kilograms. Its amber eyes are always narrow, assessing every movement. Its steps are light as the wind blowing through rotten leaves, but each stride contains the power to take down any prey. It does not need speed. It wins with silence and precision. The jaguar's jaws are among the most powerful crushing machines in the animal world. They hunt alone, marking their territory with scent and roaring like rolling earth. And while the jaguars stay away from deep water most of the time, they are not afraid to pursue even the river's edge, if the target is worthy. Under the blazing sun of the Amazon afternoon, the ground seems to evaporate under the otter's footsteps. The whole family of otters has just left the water, finding some shade among a cluster of rocks along the shore. Soft breathing, the sound of wet fur brushing against rocks, and half-closed eyes resting. But this is not a peaceful place. It never is in the Amazon. Right behind them, the jaguar, the apex predator on land, has been following for a long time. It does not rush or growl. It just quietly presses against the ground, every muscle contracting under its mottled skin like a deadly current. The distance is shortened. A young otter suddenly raises its head. Its eyes narrow. It sniffs, sensing a strange smell. But all warnings are too late. The jaguar charges. The whole herd is startled. The sleek bodies rush toward the water. But then, the unexpected happened. The pack turned back. They did not run away. A wild, daring counterattack by the jaguar. The predator retreated. The hunt ended. Not because of weakness, but because it understood. In front of it was not just a single prey, but a united family. A blood alliance that knew how to fight to the end. In this fierce world, strength lies not only in claws, but also in the heart to protect each other. the otter has proven. Sometimes, life is kept not by fear, but by collective courage. Something that even the king of land predators must retreat. However, in some cases, when the otter goes alone, it will become prey for the jaguar without too much effort to struggle. The otters play after a struggle with a land enemy. The unity of the otter pack is a strength that even a professional predator like the jaguar must retreat. In the Amazon, jaguars are not the only terrestrial enemies of otters. Even in the Amazon River, their territory, caiman crocodiles are also a constant threat. Under the silty water of the Amazon, where light is suffocated after only a few centimeters of depth, the black caiman crocodile hides like an invisible part of the ecosystem. It is silent, motionless, but full of murderous intent. This is the largest crocodile species in South America, with an average length of 3 to 5 meters and a weight that can exceed 400 kilos in adults. Their teeth are packed tightly like saw blades, with a bite force that far exceeds that of lions, enough to crush the skulls of monkeys, split turtle shells, or lock down giant catfish. Their rough, dark skin, ranging from blue-black to ash-grey, helps them almost disappear in murky pools where light cannot reach the bottom. But what makes the black caiman so formidable is not just its appearance, but its cold and efficient hunting strategy. It does not chase its prey like a big cat, nor does it need to lie in wait at close range like a leopard. It lies motionless for hours, only its eyes and nostrils protruding from the water, patiently observing every movement of schools of fish, birds, or creatures that carelessly come to shore. And with its death roll, it will not give its prey a chance to escape. Caiman's menu is diverse, from fish, waterfowl to small mammals, and even baby otters if given the chance. But when faced with the giant otter alliance, the battle will no longer be simply ambush and swallow. It will be a clash between ancient power and modern tactics, between deadly silence and the united cry that echoes across the river. The Amazon River is calm, its eyes covered with the sparkling sunlight of the afternoon. But beneath the murky water, a silent movement is taking place. The caiman, the master of ambush, is slowly crawling. It is watching. In the distance, a group of otters are swimming, their chirping sound echoing across the river. These intelligent and gregarious creatures are completely unaware that under the seemingly peaceful water, A dark shadow is closing in. They are busy playing and rolling around. It is their confidence that temporarily causes them to lose their guard. The caiman stops, moves closer to the hidden corner under the leaves hanging down to the water. It lies motionless. Its eyes watch a few otters approaching. However, the young otter has already realized the danger, using its cries to call a few others to come. The group of otters begins to surround the crocodile, their shrill whistles ringing out as if leading the group into formation. They continuously use their actions to harass and distract the crocodile's attention. Space seemed to pause for a few beats. Suddenly the crocodile attacked. The water surface splashed. Its counterattacks only touched empty space. The otters continued to tease. A chaotic atmosphere. After a few minutes of struggling, the caiman retreated. It chose to preserve its vitality instead of fighting a large and agile enemy. In this situation, the otters were stunned for a few seconds. They still did not take their eyes off the water surface. On the Amazon River, the strength of muscles sometimes had to retreat with the tactics of the herd. The water surface was calm. The battle had only temporarily subsided. In the endless rhythm of survival, tomorrow the water would be turbid again. The warning sound would ring once again. After each battle, whether with an ancient predator like the caiman or with a jaguar that silently lurks on the riverbank, the otters return to their herd, where the young are taught to listen, to dive, and to fight not with individual strength, but with collective intelligence and tenacity. They grow more cautious after each encounter, but also more courageous, knowing that life is not for the lazy. In the pitch-black darkness of the Amazonian black waters, there is a creature that needs neither fangs nor speed, but is strong enough to make even the fiercest predators retreat. The electric fish. The silent killer of the underwater world. The electric fish, also known as the electric eel, is one of the most unique creatures in the Amazon ecosystem. Although called fish, they are actually a member of the knife fish group, not a close relative of true eels. Elongated like a shiny black rope, they can grow to over 2.5 meters long and weigh over 20 kilograms. One of the largest electric predators on the planet. In contrast to their soft appearance and quiet swimming movements, the entire long body that accounts for more than 80% of the electric fish's body is made up of 3 electric generating organs: the main organ, the hunter's organ, and the sax's organ. These special muscles can generate electric pulses as strong as 600 volts, 5 times the voltage of a household outlet, and up to 1 ampere of current, enough to cause full-body convulsions, neurological disorders, or even cardiac arrest in some small species. Although they have no dorsal or pelvic fins, electric fish swim by gently undulating from their long anal fin along their body. They move silently in murky waters where sunlight has difficulty penetrating. Their eyes are small and underdeveloped, but in return they help them detect the subtlest movements of a wounded fish or insect. Electric fish are solitary, often hidden. When the rains hit the Amazon, the water levels rise and the electric fish enter their breeding season. No flashy, no dance. The male attracts his mate with electric pulses of his own frequency, like an invisible signal in the deep forest. After mating, he creates a bubble nest using mucus from his mouth floating under the dense canopy. The female lays hundreds of tiny eggs in it. The responsibility now falls to the male. He guards the nest, using weak electric currents to detect and repel predators. When the eggs hatch, the fragile fry, unable to generate electricity, become vulnerable prey. Only a small fraction survive the first few weeks. But for those that survive, every day is a step forward. They develop electric organs, learn to sense movement, protect themselves, and hunt. At around 2 years old, an adult can be nearly 2 meters long and knows how to use electricity as an invisible weapon. In the Amazon, electric fish also become a formidable prey for crocodiles or otters. In the calm, murky waters of the Amazon, a baby caiman crocodile slithers forward, its eyes lighting up when it detects a faint movement in the muddy bottom. It rushes forward, its mouth wide open, thinking it is about to have an easy meal. But that is a fatal mistake. The electric fish, silent as a log. It immediately releases a powerful electric discharge. The crocodile's muscles twitch. It can only retreat before this difficult prey. In this flooded world, the seemingly weak are the real monsters. Crocodiles can hunt many species, but not electric fish. The Amazon, an unforgiving maze of survival, where each creature is born with a role, a strategy and a limit. From the fearless giant otter, the ambushing caiman crocodile to the electric fish with invisible weapons. All together create a never-ending wild symphony between the jungle and the river. Today's ruler can become tomorrow's prey. The silent one can be the most dangerous. And in this game of millions of years of evolution, it is not pure strength that determines survival, but adaptability, solidarity, and an unyielding spirit. This is the Amazon, where every breath can be the last, or the beginning of a new legend. Do you love the magical wild world and the breathtaking encounters between predator and prey? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next journeys, where nature continues to write stories without scripts. Only instinct and survival. Leopard, the silent predator. There in the vast sea of grass, a shadow passed by. No sound. No trace. Only a pair of bright yellow eyes flashed in the darkness, then disappeared as if they had never existed. It was not a lion, not a cheetah. It did not roar or need to show its strength. But every living creature on this land knew its silent and powerful presence. The African leopard, master of camouflage, lone hunter, and embodiment of the ultimate art of survival. Need no pack. Need no kin. In absolute silence, it drew invisible lines between life and death. Every step was a tactic. Every pounce was the end. No one saw it, but it was always there, like a ghost of the Savanna, silently guarding the oldest secrets of nature. Her name is Scylla, named after the wildlife sanctuary where she was born, the Scylla area, Tanzania, a wildland on the edge of the Serengeti. Scylla is not a legend, nor is she a ruler. She is just one of hundreds of individual leopards living hidden among the sparse trees and the head-high bushes. But she has everything that represents this species. Silence, flexibility, and a fierce inner spirit, always watching, always waiting. Sela is an adult female leopard. She is in the prime of her life. On her body, the pale yellow fur speckled with black flowers is not only beautiful, but also the most perfect camouflage that nature has ever created. Thanks to that, she can stand just a few steps away from her prey without being detected. Sela's eyes were a deep yellow, not the cold eyes of a killer, but eyes that had learned to look at the world in silence, in waiting, in calculation. In the fading light of dusk on the African savanna, the last rays of the day shone through the sparse acacia trees, dyeing the dry grass fields golden yellow, waiting for the rainy season. A gentle wind blew, carrying dust and the pungent smell of rotting leaves. Everything seemed to be resting after a hot day, but hidden beneath that layer of peace, a pursuit was quietly beginning. In the shade of a low bush, Sela, an adult female leopard, lay motionless. Her entire body pressed against the ground, as if melting into the golden brown soil. But those half-open eyes were not resting. They were sharp, constantly scanning the smallest movements in space, like biological radar precisely programmed to hunt. About 70 meters away, a herd of female impalas were leisurely grazing. They were caught off guard, a fatal mistake. On the edge of the bush, where many species avoid predators, Sela was an expert in the art of stealth. Leopards do not hunt in packs. There is no backup. Every stalk, every pounce is a gamble for survival. A small mistake, a broken branch, a misstep, a change in the wind can mean losing a meal, and with it days of hunger. Sela began to move. Each step was surprisingly slow. Just a few steps per minute, her body barely making a sound. She crawled with the wind, avoiding detection of her scent. The tall grass barely covered her striped body, perfect for an ambush prepared by instincts millions of years of evolution. The distance was shortened to only 25 meters. Scylla stopped. The space was as tense as a string. Just a few seconds. Each leap shortened the distance significantly. One last sprint, and both bodies rolled to the ground. No roar, no warning, just silence and deadly precision. Scylla's teeth were locked around the neck of his prey. The pressure of his bite, strong and firm, muffled any sound from the unfortunate antelope. The storm passed. Silence returned. Scylla stood up. Silently surveying his surroundings. No hyenas. No lions. No humans. But he knew this victory was not over. On the Savanna, killing a kill was only half the battle. The other part, defending it from stronger predators, was no less cruel. Leopards could not fight back against lions or hyenas, but they had something the others did not: agility and masterful climbing skills. Scylla held the impala's body by the neck, using his shoulders and forelegs to drag it toward the base of a large acacia tree. A horizontal branch stretched out about 3 meters high. With remarkable strength, in just a few minutes, she dragged her spoils to the top of the tree, where they were absolutely safe, out of reach of any body snatchers. Up on the branches, Scylla began her feast in the cool shade, with the wind rustling through the towering leaves. What makes leopards different is not their strength or speed. Not their ability to fight for territory or their echoing roar. It is their ability to disappear. Their ability to exist even when no one knows they exist. In nature, where death lurks at every step, the strong do not necessarily live long. Those who know how to hide are the ones who survive until the end. But Scylla does not only rule the land. She is an artist of the third dimension, the sky. With its amazing climbing ability, the leopard can climb a tall tree in a matter of seconds. The branches become a place to rest, observe, and also a place to hide prey from the greedy hands of larger animals such as lions, hyenas, or jackals. It is a place where others cannot reach. It is a place where Scylla eats in peace, alone, as she has always existed. It It is early in the morning. The dew still lingers on the grass. The space is so quiet that you can clearly hear the sound of a small bird's wings just landed. In the bush, Scylla lies motionless, her eyes following every movement of a young antelope that has just left the herd. It is the golden moment. No wind. No sound, undetected. A leap as fast as an arrow released from a bowstring. The muscles under the striped fur move perfectly. In a few seconds, the antelope collapses in a fatal bite to the neck. Scylla does not roar. She just breathed heavily, held her prey in silence, and began the process of dragging the body toward a tree, a familiar, safe place. But this time, she was not alone. From a distance, a high-pitched screech sounded. Then another. Smaller, faster shadows were approaching. They were African wild dogs, large, tactical pack hunters who were especially good at sniffing out blood. Scylla paused. Her eyes darted toward the sound. The wind had changed. She knew the scent of blood, and her scent had been detected. The first 3 wild dogs charged forward like arrows. They did not hesitate. They did not fear. Because in numbers, they knew they had the advantage. The leopard was a lone hunter, and in a game of numbers it did not stand a chance. Scylla growled softly, a rare sound she made, not to threaten, but to warn. But the dogs did not retreat. They circled, scattering, closing the distance. She had no time. She couldn't pull the prey up the tree. She couldn't fight the pack alone. In a split second, Scylla decided to let go of the prey and leap up a nearby tree. She chose to live. Under the tree, the sound of tearing flesh rang out. The wild dogs rushed in, fighting frantically for each piece of meat. It was an uninvited feast, but no one could stop it. Up high among the branches, Scylla lay still, breathing heavily. Her eyes were not of regret, but of acceptance. In this world, the best do not always win the final prize, and the leopard understood that better than anyone. Life on the savannah begins not with a roar, but with a gentle breeze carrying an invisible scent. It is the silent signal of the female leopard, signaling the arrival of estrus. Silha, like all other adult females of the Panthera pardus species, leaves her scent on the tree trunks, the rocks, and every trail she walks. No noise, no show. But those who are observant enough will know new life is waiting to be formed. From a territory further away, a male leopard receives the signal. It follows the scent, crosses the boundary, approaches with the caution of one who knows. A slight growl can be an attack. Leopards do not have mating battles like lions. Here, the choice belongs to the female, and Scylla knows that well. She only accepts when she feels safe, when the male is not threatening, not aggressive. The mating process, if successful, lasts several days, repeated dozens of times, short, silent, without commitment. Then the male leaves, as if he had never been there. And Scylla, alone, continues the old cycle, hunting, hiding, moving. But this time, a seed of life is budding inside her. Three months later, on a quiet morning after a night of rain, under a discreet tree in the middle of an unknown land, three little creatures are born. Eyes not yet open, ears not yet hearing, bodies limp and completely dependent on their mother. No sounds of joy, no help. There is only Scylla, and the maternal instinct is written in her blood. The first days are a life and death period. Scylla hardly leaves the nest. She fasts, only leaving for a few short hours to hunt small prey, enough to feed herself and produce milk, but not too risky. Each time she leaves the nest, it is a gamble. Each time she returns late, a child may disappear into the clutches of hyenas, snakes, vultures, or even other male leopards. When the cubs begin to open their eyes and learn to crawl, Scylla begins to teach them, step by step. She does not need to speak. Survival lessons are passed on by action, lying still in the headwind, crawling close to the ground, observing in the dark. Each successful hunt, she lets them smell. Each failure, she lets them remember. It is not just protection, but preparation. The nursing period lasts up to 18 or even 24 months. During that time, Scylla does not leave her cubs. Each time she moved the nest, she held each one in her mouth as lightly as a dry blade of grass. Whenever she heard a strange noise, she assessed the danger and was ready to give everything to protect those little creatures. On a quiet afternoon, when the heat had subsided and the shadows of the trees stretched across the cracked ground, Scylla left the nest to hunt. The cubs were older, able to crawl and hide, but still not strong enough to defend themselves. She needed food, not only to feed herself but also to maintain her dwindling milk supply. The trip took longer than usual. The prey was difficult to approach, and Scylla had to travel further. When she returned, carrying the body of a small antelope, the sight before her eyes immediately made her stop. The nest was disturbed. Two of the three had disappeared. Only one cub lay gasping for breath, its body covered in scratches, its breathing ragged. There was a distinct scent on the ground, a male lion. No roar, no panic, only a change in the eyes. Three days later at dawn, Scylla approached a small pride of lions at the edge of the forest, where a lioness had left her cubs to hunt. The wind changed direction just in time. Scylla quietly approached, hidden among the low thorn bushes, slowly fading into the background. Only one cub, a few weeks old, lay sleeping on the ground, its belly rising and falling with its breathing. Scylla did not hesitate. A lightning-fast charge. No cry. No resistance. It was all over in seconds. The leopard, a hermit by nature, had not come hunting for food this time. This time it was to return the favor. A few hours later, Scylla returned to the nest. The remaining cub was dead. There was no funeral, no regrets. Only a silhouette that quietly disappeared into the bushes as if it had never existed. In the wild, there is no justice. There are only consequences. And sometimes, the leopard, which lurks in the shadows, leaves a deep tooth mark in the seemingly settled food chain.